for example, I did SoccerCon, and I didn't know what to expect. It was for the VR booth, and it was the first time the VR booth was going to be hosted in SoccerCon, which is one of the biggest anime conventions in Washington, right?
Right. Just
And
by the way, I'm getting nervous as to where this story might be going. If you
no, it
mentioned
is
SoccerCon.
PC if anything.
I'm just saying if certain other people's in this conversation might also be in this story too. I just want to. I'm saying go ahead, just with trepidation. That's all I'm saying.
No worries.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Ling O, and welcome to Educative Sessions, a podcast series with people in the developer world about their coding experiences. This is powered by Educative, which makes it easy for authors to provide interactive and adaptive courses for software developers. And today, my guest is Lisa Jiamsiriuongkul. Did I get that right? Yes,
Right.
score. I've been practicing that for a while, and I should have checked with you beforehand, but very proud.
Awesome.
Lisa is an experienced project manager and now venturing into software engineering. And today she wants to talk about pivoting during a pandemic. So, Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. So, Lisa, before the pandemic, let's talk a little bit about your life then. I mean, that's around the time you and I met. I remember you doing a lot of really great work. So, share with us what you did and why you thought that kind of work was a good fit for you at the time.
Yeah. So prior to the pandemic, I've been working in the project side of many industries for over 5, 8 years. And throughout my experience, I have loved and grew within each team, learning how to do time management, project management, and also adapting to each industry's like intricacies and niche of medical education or fintech. And where I really thrive is communicating with people what they're passionate about and like what they're working on, right? And building their idea into fruition. And what I really loved about project management, it was chaotic. It is fine a sense. Like you can come in and not have a single similar day, and you're working towards a bigger goal and helping a team build upon their idea, right? Part of the reason why I pivoted during pandemic was looking at a lot of people working from home and working alongside of the finance industry and the fintech industry at the time. I saw there was a huge opportunity for me to transition my skills into the software engineering side, thus now working towards a software engineering certificate.
Got it. Got it. And going into project management, you did not have coding training prior to that.
No.
Where did you learn how
So,
to become, in a sense, a project manager?
so to become a project manager, I learned a lot of it hands-on. So it was going through one volunteer work was a huge part of my building block, where I volunteered for conventions or volunteering for small nonprofits, where it helped me build those skill sets in order for me to understand what I can take into my next role, right? And part of that was, for example, I did SoccerCon, and I didn't know what to expect. It was for the VR booth, and it was the first time the VR booth was going to be hosted in SoccerCon, which is one of the biggest anime conventions in Washington, right?
Right. Just
And
by the way, I'm getting nervous as to where this story might be going. If you
no, it
mentioned
is
SoccerCon.
PC if anything.
I'm just saying if certain other people's in this conversation might also be in this story too. I just want to. I'm saying go ahead, just with trepidation. That's all I'm saying.
No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So join soccer, the team for SoccerCon, and at that time I was joining because I was part of a VR group that's based out of the East Side in Washington, and we were they had connected me with the team that was building SoccerCon, because they were like, hey, like you're interested in like hosting, like you've been a community builder, like why not help us build this idea and work towards hosting an event, right?
Mhm.
So part of my PM skill set went into that con where I was managing the booths and figuring out like, hey, is there a time management that we have to figure out for each booth, because you can't have attendees go through each booth and like just run through it for 10 minutes while there's more people waiting in line, right? That's part of the skill set. And three is like communication. Over communicating, like, what are you doing? What are the plans? How, and like pivoting on spot is a huge key and skill where it's hard to explain to someone without them being in the field, but like pivoting on the spot and saying, hey, I noticed there's something wrong. Like, what's my solution? What is the alternative method? So for example, at SakuraCon, there was like a line of probably like an hour wait for the Beat Saber line. I was like, oh my God, like I
As
never thought
expected.
Beat
Yeah,
Saber
absolutely.
was
Absolutely.
going to be that popular
And it
that
was
year.
just kind of premiering, I think, around that time, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So Beat Saber was a huge hit,
Mm,
hour wait to almost 2 hours sometimes. So part of our pivoting at that time, we had four booths of in total for VR, which it imagine having four booths, each booth, if everyone was playing a different game in each booth, because we offered a virtual reality experience that you can like paint and like have a meditative one. We offered
right.
aquarium one, we offered Fruit Ninja, and we offered Beat Saber.
Right.
And Beat Saber was, of course, being the popular one, being an hour wait. Everything else was going to get bottlenecked in their time management. And we're like, okay, once like certain time frames came about, like we were like, hey, we'll change up the booth so that we have more Beat Saber for the bigger crowds, and then be able to also broadcast it too, so people can get hyped and excited to come over to the VR
Mm,
session.
got it. Makes a lot of sense, and I think that's such a s- like relevant example to the world of project management. That it's, yes, you can be very strategic around it, but when, in this case, in the case of SakuraCon attendees, like those are kind of users of sorts that will interact with things and want things in different ways. And in the end, I think it's a very good thing that you and your team was tactile in those moments, right? I want to shift back to the conversation that we're having around software development and becoming a software engineer for you. So, was it a circumstance or an interest or perhaps both that shifted you in this new direction? And yet, from what you just described as to how you organize yourself as a PM, do you see some of those skill sets pouring into this new venture for you?
Oh yeah. So my interest in software development started like way beyond before I started my career.
Hmm.
And it was more of a hobby, right? I was one of those like Sengas and like MySpace like creators, like where I changed HTML, like did websites and all that. And it was much more recently where I realized my interest in software has started blossoming into actually like me wanting to take on those projects, like be able to code on hand and like not have to like rely on someone to build my code for me, right? And part of that spark came from VR and like IoT items. So like being able to rewire my entire house with voice activated Alexa and Google, it was like a spark. And then the next spark was like setting up my VR and being able to like now code in VR, right? Um, Oddly enough, I didn't get my feet like into like the traditional web development or Python initially. I jumped straight into VR and started developing like VR projects.
Okay. Wow. That's very ambitious.
So yeah, like
Yeah.
those VR projects are probably sitting somewhere in like my Oculus or like a view somewhere, but
Mm.
it was much more simple than I put it.
That's really awesome. So I have one more question for you, which is, for those who are interested in maybe in a similar kind of transition, I know a lot of people who actually are in software that would be interested in PMing and
Mhm.
vice versa. What kind of questions do you think people need to ask in order to make that kind of transition as well?
Uh, that's a great question. The first thing I would ask myself if I was transitioning from software engineering into PM is, of course, why? Like, why do I want to transition? Two, what is the product I want to change, right? And PMing is part about change and how to maintain change, and learning, if you are interested in like one set product and are able to navigate like the changes and also like the vision of what that product should be, that would help you start like getting those brainstorms and sessions down to understand where you want to get to next.
Mhm.
The skill set wise, you're looking for you're going to be looking for a mentor and asking, doing informational interviews with like myself or like people in the industry, like about their skill sets and their knowledge so that you can build upon your portfolio.
Wonderful. I think that's a lot of great advice. Lisa, we've come to the end of our at least planned questions, and I want to give you an opportunity to do a shameless plug. Whether it's something you're working on, some organization that you're affiliated with, or just whatever cause is most important to you, the floor is yours. Go for it.
I want to highlight my work that I'm being doing. If you go to Visaka or visalisa.com, VISALISA.com, that's where I'm hosting most of my work, and you'll see my progress. And if anyone wants to get connected, I'm also on LinkedIn. Another shameless plug is to bring awareness to the AAPI cause, and looking to promote them and stop the hate that's being spread around right now.
Awesome. Lisa, thank you so much for all of this. I think it's been wonderful just to reconnect with you. And I know you're based out in Tennessee, but everyone's remote anyway, so you feel both far and close at the same time. And I definitely want to thank you for participating on this session. I want to thank everyone else for listening or watching to this session as well. You can check out more of our content on YouTube or on our Podbean channel and all major podcasting applications. And also, if you want to learn a little bit more about Educative, you can check us out at educative.io. So for all of us here at Educative, thank you so much and happy learning. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed that. This episode is available on YouTube and also on many podcast platforms. If you'd like to be part of Educative Sessions, the form is open now to apply. You can also email me at lee@educative.io. Lastly, don't forget to like and comment this video, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more content. Thank you so much for watching, and happy learning.